go ahead.
Okay, let's call the meeting to order.
Good afternoon. Today is June the 21st, 2022. This is the special meeting scheduled for the Veteran Advisory Board. Would you please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Number 2, please.
Item number 3, public comment.
Good afternoon, this is Alexis Ortiz with County Administration. We currently do not have anybody signed up to speak for public comment.
Thank you. Item number 4, please.
Item number 4, approval of the minutes for the regular meeting of May the 10th, 2022.
Has everybody had a chance to look over the meeting minutes?
Yes. Yeah. Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries. And/or events of interest to El Paso County veterans.
Do we have anybody from Veterans Affairs on the line? Okay. Anybody from any other veteran organizations? Okay. Item number 6, please.
Item number 6, receive an update from the El Paso Coalition for the Homeless on veteran homelessness in El Paso County.
We do not see Ms. Castillo. Okay. If she jumps on, we'll come back. Item number 7, please.
Item number 7, receive an update from the City of El Paso Chief Military Officer regarding veteran issues.
I know that he is currently on vacation through the end of this month. So I know we will not be hearing from him. Item number 8, please.
Item number 8, receive an update from the El Paso County Veteran Assistance Office regarding veteran issues. I know we don't have too many updates for the board right now. The only thing is that we are starting to get the actual applications for the Veteran of the Year. I already have 2 applications were submitted and they're uploaded to the actual drive, so you guys want to take a look at it.
Okay.
Just one thing we can put out, I know that 2 of those applications, when they were sent to me, they were sent without the proper application. They just did an actual survey. So I had to send them back and tell them to go ahead and do it on the proper application so we can accept it. So it was done just so we can do an FYI for anybody else that they need the actual application before submitting their nominations.
Thank you for that. Item number 9, please.
Item number 9, receive presentations from UEIE nonprofit about their program and available support for veterans.
Is there anybody on the line from UEIE? Doesn't look like. Okay. Item number 10, please.
Item number 10, discussion and action regarding approval of the 2021-2022 Veteran Advisory Board Annual Report due May 15, 2022.
So every year, the Veterans Advisory Board has to put together a report to Commissioners Court that details what we talked about in our meetings and the things that we did throughout the year. So I prepared the report, and that should have been emailed to you from Efren. Well, from their office anyway, for us to look at. It was actually already due to the county back in May, but unfortunately I got a late start on it. And then, of course, we had to push our meeting, unfortunately. So at this time, we just need to approve the actual report for the past year, and then that'll get briefed to Commissioners Court.
I reviewed the report. Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone disapprove? Motion carries.
Thank you. Item number 11, please.
Item number 11, discussion and action regarding having a candlelight vigil for the war in Ukraine.
Bye-bye. So that would be, I'm actually the POC for that one, but so I have a press release drafted up, and I have a sponsor dedicate the star on a specific day for this candlelight vigil. However, with recent events in the state and then locally, I've been kind of struggling with the fact of like, is this really a good time to do something like this? And how would it pertain to us as the veteran community here in El Paso County? If there is no if there's no issues, or if everybody is still on board with pushing forward with this, the candlelight vigil, I'm all for it. We can still do it. But I would like to just kind of ask the question: do you guys still deem this to be appropriate, given like the time, the state being in mourning, and also in the veteran community here in El Paso?
I think so. I think that's actually more reason for us to do it, just to create some unity and in relation to the conflict. So we just at least want to show our support and show that we're at least here. We don't know when this is even going to end necessarily, but it's at least a statement of we're here for each other at least.
Okay. All right then. So then I'll go ahead and move forward with it. I've been talking with the commissioner staff, and they've advised me just to make sure like that whatever it is that I put on the press release, that it's good to go, because it's gonna be a formal request for the start to be dedicated for that date, and I just have to submit it, and we should be good to go. Like I said, we have a sponsor already for it. We could dedicate not this Friday but the following Friday for that day, the candlelight vigil. That works.
What days?
I have my calendar on me.
1st of July? This coming Friday?
It could be July 1st or the 8th. So, I mean, this weekend would probably be 4th of July events kind of thing. So if not, we could push it to the 8th of July.
I like the 8th, just so we can still celebrate, our actual Independence Day too.
Okay. I'll go ahead and move forward with pushing the press release and then dedicating the star being lit on July 8th for the candlelight vigil warning print.
So will people be like just doing the candlelight vigil from home, or?
Yeah, so we're just going to ask people to either use that. We came up with. I have 2 hashtags. Sorry, I'm having a hard time talking. Having a hashtag that you can either write on your car window, or you can on Friday night. You can set a candle on. You can light a candle on and set it out front of your house on that night for the candlelight vigil.
That's great. So it won't be a mass gathering. It'll be.
No, it won't. Yes, it'd be out for the entire community to do.
That's good. I'm glad we're being mindful. COVID's still here, so. Thank you for doing it. Item number 12, please.
Item number 12, discussion and action regarding Veteran of the Year nomination and selection for the 2022 and 23. Topics include promotion video, marketing campaign, selection panel, funding, budget, ceremony planning, and support.
So, as great as Mr. Garcia has been, comes time that we got to select someone else, or maybe even Mr. Garcia again, I don't know. But the intent that we've been talking about is just trying to get the word out there a little bit more, being intentional about it, making sure that we have the right audience and everything that goes along with this, get this prestigious position out there. So what we're doing, we got a little disruptor in here about what we're going to do and try and get a promotion video and stuff like that. I got a draft of the promotion video. We're going to start off with that so we can watch that so people see it. Now this is just a draft. We plan on maybe running 2 videos. This one right here with some technical difficulties we had with the sound. We're going to change that, and then we might have another video possibly with the judge in it. So let's run the first video so we can check it out and see what you guys think of. Just a draft, get your opinion.
As a member of the VAB, one of the things I've just been so surprised about when I became a member was that people just didn't know about the Veteran of the Year program that El Paso County has. Can you tell more people about what this program offers?
Definitely. So the Veterans Advisory Board created a award that is called the Veteran of the Year, where we would like to recognize a veteran who exemplifies service and commitment to their community, as well as going above and beyond outside of their uniform. If you know of an exceptional veteran that you would like to nominate for the Veteran of the Year, you can get more information by calling 915-875-8570, option 1.
So we kept it under 1 minute long for purposes of advertising and things like that. The game plan was to do some type of OTT. So if you don't know what OTT is, it's over-the-top service media offered directly to viewers via internet. It bypasses cable, broadcast, or satellite television. Basically, we can get this out there in front of people. We can target actually military personnel and things like that over the internet, something that we can do. So we can get more people involved and more exposure to it, so we can get more candidates, okay? Something, again, that's just a draft right now, something we want to put out there, maybe even put on the, I don't know what can be on the VAB's YouTube channel, that we only have 60 subscribers. Maybe we push that out there, maybe get more subscribers. It's just all about getting exposure out there to everyone else about this great program that the county does. So that's something that we've worked together to try and do this, to make sure we can get it out there a little bit differently, all right? What's your thoughts on the proposed video right now?
I like the video idea. It's something visual for people to look at, and I think it'll be easy to share as well, versus just us using the typical flyers that we have. And of course, it'll be easy to send as, you know, in emails or any other format as well. But I think my concern is just what happens if Commissioner's Court doesn't approve it? What's the plan?
Doesn't approve that video?
Or any. Because I guess to my understanding is that if we use another party to do it, the content doesn't belong to the county. It's your content, well, you know, that company's content, correct?
No. I mean, I'm on this VAB, it belongs to the VAB. That's how I see it. I don't know if I legally, I don't know what that looks like. Well, it's just a content that's we're promoting. It's a public service announcement, like any other public service announcement out there for the county. I don't see it being any different. That's the way I see it, but I could defer to the legal people.
There was an opinion that was offered last week by the Commissioner's Court unit. I copied that opinion to the board last Thursday. And from the review of that opinion, it appears that you can move forward with doing this type of public service announcement. And there shouldn't be any conflict or anything to be concerned about from that perspective.
Okay. So once the board approves it, then we can take it to Commissioner's Court?
That is correct.
So the approval, are we approving this video? This is just a draft. This is not the final cut. I just wanted to present something to the board because
we're approving just the promotion video, period.
Okay.
Not necessarily
that particular video.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
But just for us to actually create one and actually have one for us for this purpose.
So I make a motion to approve the promotional video, of course. I make that motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries.
Well done.
Okay.
The only thing I want to add to us with the marketing campaign is that just, at least just talking about the VAB, you know, whenever we can, but I also wanted to actually talk about us actually creating a judges panel for the Veterans Advisory, for the Veteran of the Year specifically, consisting of 7 people, only for us to actually be able to interview the nominees before we make a selection to see if they're available, to see if they're interested, to see if they have the time and the commitment, to actually continue what Mr. Garcia has started for us. And actually figure out, what is their actual job versus what they actually do in the community. And I think it gets a little hard for us to see that on paper, especially when we're working with our veterans that have longer longevity. So I would like for us to actually create a judges panel for the Veteran of the Year, consisting of at least 2 board members, but the rest being, of course, one of the previous Veterans of the Year, and then 3 others we could find in the community, to help us out with selecting the Veteran of the Year. But I also think creating it that way will also protect, one, last year the VAB was the judges, but in the future, in case any of the VAB members are nominated, then that relieves us of the conflict of interest. Chances are all 5 of us are not going to be nominated in the same year, hopefully. So if at least 2 of us are a part of the judges panel that we're able to create for it, then we still maintain control and visibility of it as well.
So is this judges panel, is this something like a telephonic type situation where we get on the phone or whoever the judges panel is to try and find out what their situation is, or is this something they come in physically, or what's your idea?
Either or. I think it could actually work both ways, being that we actually have the meeting space to do it in person. I would like for us to do it in person, so we can actually see who we're looking at and see who we're talking to. But I also think it's good for us to figure out who they are, kind of get a feel of who they are before we put them in the spotlight as well. So I think it's another opportunity to get the community involved as well. So I think if we put it out sort of like an advertisement, like the nominees, just, hey, we're looking for judges, to be judges for the Veteran of the Year panel.
And this is for this particular board, this actual selecting this time?
I think we should.
Okay.
May I interject? You have to always be mindful about gathering to do official business without the public being aware and having availability to those gatherings. So I just wanted to put that out to as it concerns this suggestion of a scoring committee or a grading committee or whatever we propose.
Thank you, sir.
Could it also be done, maybe not this particular one, but I guess when we go for next year or something like that, do we change the questions on the selection process maybe to extract what we need to know, so we can get, maybe that will mitigate the coming together, something like that. Maybe in the application itself, we just change the question to actually get the information we need to know, so we don't have, quote unquote, the wrong person. We got extremely lucky with Mr. Garcia. I understand what you're saying. Big shoes to fill for whoever next. But I think you're totally right. We got to do a little bit more deep dive into the selection of whoever's going to be, make sure they're available and something.
The last time I was here, basically an agenda. When you base it on that, when you have your board or anything, there's got to be an agenda for this Veteran of the Year. Just not letting them pick and stuff like that. I think the board needs to go ahead and identify what they want that Veteran of the Year to do within the veteran community. It was kind of tough. With the 2 previous, they couldn't do much. Then I stepped up into the board. I made my own agenda. So basically, you're giving that Veteran of the Year the opportunity to go seek. But I think he needs direction. I was doing it, I was winging it. And this is why it became a little bit bigger. How I got involved with a lot of stuff, because I found the stuff. The things to do or to represent the county and the veteran community. I think the board also needs to come with an agenda, because if somebody is chosen that works, or, has family and everything else, at least they can meet a little bit of the agenda that you guys put forward.
I think that would be a smart move so the guy won't be a failure. You know, not saying he's gonna fail, but really, what do you have him doing? There's no agenda for the veteran of the year. And, you know, Ishmael and Mr. Wade, there was no agenda. And so I had to establish an agenda so that I can go ahead and press forward on what the veteran of the year represents for the county and the city. So that's my opinion. It's up to you.
Thank you.
The boards to do that.
Thank you. We appreciate that.
So I have a question, are we voting on any of these proposed items that you guys are coming up with, or are we just having like a discussion?
Right now, it's just a discussion.
Okay,
But I'm thinking the discussion is going towards, we're just gonna shift all these ideas to next year. And
Yeah.
we'll just do somehow, you know, redo the actual application and, you know, we'll have the proper approval for whatever marketing we wanna do ahead of time.
I mean, we can still discuss it and vote on it for next year. That way we're not rushing, doing it last minute for next year. Like, now's a great time, because we're already going through the process and we can see what we want to tweak for next year. I do agree though, with the whole discussion, we should definitely look at that and see what we can modify, what we're actually looking for in a veteran of the year. However, I don't think that there should be like some sort of criteria of what someone has to agree to if they were to be nominated or even win veteran of the year, because that's essentially saying, okay, you did great for this whole year and you applied and you won, but now you also have to prove yourself for another year because now you're veteran of the year. So it's like a 2-year part thing that it's not originally what it started with. However, if the veteran of the year is now going to be something where we're looking for a potential candidate to become the voice of the veteran of the community for a whole year, then that's a different scenario, I think. I think what we're looking for is like a speaker, we're looking for a representative to like go out there and be the voice of veterans, go to events like David went to and represent, but it shouldn't be, because it's a volunteer type thing and we're nominating them, I don't think it should be mandated for them to be going to.
We won't be mandating, but we at least want to know what their availability is and where their interests are.
But it carries weight into whether they are nominated or whether they win or not. So that's my point. Like, whatever it is that we do choose, I think we're developing 2 different things. There's the veteran of the year that has done a lot within the past year, and then they get recognized for it. Then there's the, well, are you available? If so, then we would like for you to attend these things. That's a different.
Well, it's not a disqualifying factor. We just want to know ahead of time, like, you know, if you work 40 plus hours a week, we want to know if you're already working 40 plus hours a week. So of course, whatever we set up, you know, for that next year is going to be geared around towards what that person's availability is.
Right.
So it's not a disqualifying factor. We just want to know up front. Like we said, Mr. Garcia, he's retired. So he was able to do a lot more. But for somebody who has full-time employment, you know, that's not going to be the same situation, but we want to be considerate and at least open the communication with them and know, because we don't know everybody personally, so we're not going to know that looking off a piece of paper either.
Definitely.
So it's just trying to figure out, you know, where can we best fit them throughout the year, not necessarily.
And that could be added to the application to say, if you were to win, can you go to these 3 events? Like Veterans Day, like Women's Veterans Day, like, you know, things like that. I agree.
Right, and we can, but because the nominations are coming from the outside agencies, sometimes the veterans don't know they're even being nominated. But if we can at least let them know, hey, you were nominated for such and such, such and such, can we speak to you? Then, you know, and just have, you know, just a conversation. But,
gotcha. Okay.
Mr. Garcia?
I brought up another point that is that the county board set up an alumni of the past veteran of the year. See, they can also be utilized when the present county veteran cannot do certain things. Why can't they go on his behalf? You know, you have to have a backup plan. You know, I mean, if you select someone that cannot do a lot of the things that you want, call upon your previous veteran of the year, see if they can step up to present the county, because we are still part of this. It's not like yeah, okay, you did your year, and that's it, you're gone. No, the judge did state at that presentation that he would love for the past veterans of the years to continue to get involved. And I think that's something that needs to be brought up to the board. It's like, you're just not putting him out there. He can't do it, so there's no representation. You got Ishmael, you got Robert Ray, and of course you got myself. We can go step and fill that spot. So nothing would be voided. And this is a suggestion that I bring up to you, and it can happen. We can make it work.
So, the questions, I just want to make sure I'm understanding. The question we're actually throwing out there basically is next year to refine the selection process where we ask the right questions. I get, obviously we don't know what those questions are now, but we definitely want to put out there for next year, not this year, next year, that we're refining the questions.
And then the last thing we have to do is just update the county's website with the flyer for this year, or the Veteran of the Year for this year, and then the new application on the county's website.
We also have some stuff on here about, I guess, do we vote on that now? Is that the right thing?
Well, it was just a discussion.
But to make a motion that we define the criteria for next year?
You can make that.
Make a motion to define the criteria on the application for next year. Veteran advisory, Veteran of the Year candidate.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you. Okay, item number 13, please.
Funding.
We can, sorry, we'll stick this, we'll go back to number 12, please. Talking about the funding and the budgeting.
Right. I guess the question would be, just to talk about it, what do we have, what are we working with for us with the ceremony? Last year we had to kind of squeeze out funds and things of that nature. And what do we have presently for the funding for the ceremony?
Last year we had no leftover funds, so we're starting with zero funds that I'm aware of, because we update the Veteran of the Year wall, and the remainder of our funds went to the podium at the resolution is sitting on. So we have $0 for this year. But largely the ceremony is done by donations. Typically, the Elizabeth Dole Foundation provided the refreshments. Of course, the stuff is already here, the wall's already here, but typically there really isn't much of an expense besides the refreshments. But those are typically done by donation. And we have not made any changes to the Veteran of the Year wall. All the changes we made were done last year. So we don't have any expenses upcoming for the wall.
And the last thing I want to talk about, because last year it was pretty much just you and I here. I just wanted to make sure everybody understood it was on the VAB that particular day. It was set up for it. I mean, we need everybody here. Because that was the issue. So I don't want to put no surprise on nobody, but we need everybody there present for the setup and the help support and do everything, all hands on deck. I don't know how to put that like that, but we need everybody here.
That's fair.
For the ceremony?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it was her and I last year. Just so I was running around being the.
Like, who did we start late for again? Who was that?
So just want to put that out in the space that we need everybody there. Everybody would get present physically.
Right.
Not in virtual land.
Okay. Anything else you could think of for number 12?
That was it.
Do you have a date you want to do it on yet?
No, I do not. So
Okay, so
Thank you.
July, we'll have a,
I think we want to pick that next meeting. Okay.
that'll work. All right, item number
And the
13.
date is still the same for August 31st, the last day to submit the application?
Correct.
Yes. Okay, item number 13, please.
Item number 13, discussion and action regarding conducting a memorial in honor of Mr. Stephen Mills, Director of Veteran Nonprofit.
So Mr. Stephen Mills passed away a few weeks ago, and his memorial service was this past Thursday. That was here at a local church downtown. However, we would like to do a county resolution for him and his service to our veteran community. Mr. Stephen Mills was, of course, a veteran as well, and the Veterans Nonprofit had, since it's been here, has been tremendous to the veteran community, especially those facing food insecurity, those needing clothes. He offered military sexual trauma classes for women veterans there at the Veterans Nonprofit. It's a tremendous organization that I can't even believe he pulled off on its own. So we would like to do a county resolution Monday, June 27th. But I also wanted to ask the board if you would be interested in us doing a memorial at the actual Veterans Nonprofit for the veteran community. Because like I said, his memorial service was at a church this past Thursday. But we'd like to see us be able to do something at the actual Veterans Nonprofit and actually use that opportunity to try to raise funds and actually get goods. Because there is a young lady named Caitlin who is still there trying to keep it open by herself. They're still doing food distribution on Saturdays. That's been the tradition for some years now. So they're still trying to work on getting the distribution of the food on Saturdays. But I think it'd be nice for us to come together at the actual Veterans Nonprofit and actually do a memorial service there.
And what date did you have in mind for that?
July 8th. That's a Friday.
And we just say we're doing something on July 8th?
The vigil,
The vigil.
that's at night.
Mm-hmm.
So all encompassing with that, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that just happened to work out that way. That's but it's beautiful. We'll take it. That's
And Monday, June 27th, we
yes.
have a time for that.
Commissioner's Court is at 09:30 on Mondays.
You're like, I should know that. I have to look at it to see that.
So please be present at Commissioner's Court if you are available, but I'd like to make a motion for the Veterans Advisory Board to have the memorial service at Veterans Nonprofit on July 8th.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Also remember that on that date, we're gonna have a new appointment to the Veteran Advisory Board that Monday.
Okay.
The Monday
Commissioner's
after.
The 27th.
Okay. Okay, thank you. Okay, item number 14, please.
Item number 14, receive monthly updates from the Veteran Advisory Board members on items of interest or issues from the representative or precinct veterans. We'll start off with our precinct 1. Any updates, Mr. Lopez?
No.
Okay. Precinct 2, Madam Chair.
So the Women's Veterans Day brunch was great. Had a lot of fun. It was at Escarte Park. And it was a great event. We made the news that Friday. Looking forward to doing it again and making it bigger and expanding to seeing if we can either do a weekend or maybe a Women's Veterans Week. Because even though we even tried to be as inclusive as we can, there was still a lot that was left out and a lot of people we weren't able to include. and a lot of course, women veterans that we still couldn't reach. But I'm definitely grateful for the near 50 women veterans that did come out to be recognized. It was a really great time. Moving forward, I just want to reiterate what Mr. Williams said. Please come out and try to attend what we put on as a board. Please do your best to try to support, what we do as well. And just to take care of yourselves. That's all I have.
Okay. Precinct 3, vacant. Precinct 4, absent. County Judge appoint, Mr. Williams.
So I met a gentleman from AVP, and in this conversation, he let me know that they have like over 200 recs for jobs, and they have a program that's centered on just veterans. I definitely want to get him in front of us sometime. It was a great conversation. I didn't know anything about it. I didn't know anything that they had something like that. And he's right here locally in town. They have like a lot of jobs just for veterans that I wanted to, showcase here so we know about it. I'm hoping to get him in here as well. That's all I have.
Mr. David Garcia, do you have anything for us real quick?
Not at this time.
Okay, thank you. I know that we do not have an actual item on number 15 for executive session, but I do need to have an executive session, if I could, please.
Needs to be a point of order, board item, request change to the agenda. We need to do that. That's for point of order, board, a request to change the items on the agenda, right now. And then take a motion, vote on it, and change.
Mr. Garcia, what were you gonna say?
I got one last thing that I'm working on as one of the initiatives. I'm working with the city, Paul Albright, in reference to our veteran community getting involved in school safety to protect our children. I'm writing up a proposed or what you call a contingency plan. And on this contingency plan, once we get everything figured out, I got other folks involved to include Carl Dreyer to review everything, basically put it into perspective to present it to the trustees of this district in the school board. If it does pass, the next thing that I'm pushing on is to make it law. And I think a lot of folks, I'm getting a little upset because we get stereotyped throughout the city, through the civilians or whatever, that we're nuts. That's not right. And I want to show them that we are part of this community and part of this county, and just volunteering our time without weapons or anything like that, just to give them another set of eyes. It's not gonna cost them a penny, just a radio and an ID card, just to observe the perimeters, so that our families out there, their mothers and fathers that drop these children off, know that the veteran community is involved in the safety of their children in school. That's it. So I'm putting that together right now. That's my plan before I step down from being Veteran of the Year. But I'm going to continue working on it. And hopefully we come out with a good plan. We'll present it to the board. And then I know there's going to be a lot of questions. But the thing is, who's liable? The veteran is. If he loves this city or this county, he would do whatever he got to do to assist the school. That's all I got. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Garcia.
Okay, Madam Chair, just before we go on, maybe you want to do an executive session. what is it that you want to discuss before because if it's an item that we have to vote on, you have to put it on the agenda and come back next month. If we don't have to vote on it, you can put it on today, we can talk about it.
It's about the Women's Veterans Day brunch.
Nothing to be voted
It's
on.
nothing to be voted on.
Then, it can go into executive because there's room that's left in there, or we can put it into executive and we can discuss, it can be discussed there. But if there's any type of vote, as Ephraim said, it has to come out and then be put on the agenda because it was not officially on this.
Okay. Mr. Thaxton's calling me. I think he wants a meeting link.
What?
A meeting link. A link to the meeting.
Yes, should we call him into
Yes,
executive?
please.
Okay. Are you ready to move into executive?
If you're ready.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Stand by.
Sorry.
One second.
Okay.
Thank you. Go ahead.
Okay, I'd like to make a motion for us to end executive session.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries.
Okay, I'd like to make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries.